Hello Internet and welcome back to Financial Journey, where we talk all things personal finance. My name is Alex and today marks the beginning of May, which means it's time to take stock of where we stand with our monthly net worth update. Now, I really enjoy putting these videos together as we track our progress towards my family's personal financial goals. In these videos, each month we track the actual value of our assets, all of the cash, investments, and objects of significant value, such as our car and home, and compare them to the debts that we owe, including our mortgage, car loan, and student loans. Net worth is simply the difference between these values, a sort of what you own minus what you owe. April was certainly an exciting month as it not only fell on one of two annual 3 pay period months, as I'm paid bi-weekly, but also contained a small award from work as well as our annual tax return. Altogether, this clocked in at our second biggest month, aside from February, where I received my annual bonus. If you want to see exactly how much we earned and how we've chosen to spend and invest that money, please check out the videos I'll be posting throughout the remainder of the month, which will dig into this quite a bit more deeply. To be clear, I am well aware that we are quite blessed with the income that we make, and thanks to that income, we are well on our way to achieving our own personal goals. I post these videos not to brag, but to keep myself accountable and avoid the trappings of lifestyle creep. And I absolutely hope that our journey will help motivate and inspire others to begin saving and investing, and ride out the highs and the lows of the journey. However, let's not forget, net worth is just one metric of financial health, and it neither describes the makeup of those assets, nor the differing circumstances that people have. So simply comparing net worth will not provide a full picture of people's financial situations. So with that out of the way, without further ado, let's jump right in. For those of you that are looking for that instant gratification, I'll leave a timestamp to get you to our final net worth number, but I hope you'll take the savvy personal finance step and walk through this with me step by step. Let's start with our assets. First thing here is what hasn't changed. Our home, car, and emergency fund all remain more or less the same as last month, ending at $570,000, $26,141, and $31,659 respectively. The housing market's actually been booming all across the US, so this is likely undervaluing our home, but as I don't have a good place to estimate the current value, we're just keeping this constant to the purchase price, at least for now. Our cash savings are up a little, over $12,500 this month, to a total of $81,200. Now this is obviously far more than we need in cash, but $12,000 of which is already planned for conversion over to a Roth IRA, utilizing a backdoor Roth system. I just need to touch base with my accountant to dot my I's and cross my T's before I just go ahead and move it. This month was a decent month in the markets overall, and together with our contributions added just shy of $7,000 in our post-tax brokerage accounts. And finally, as we've seen up to this point this year, our HSA did continue to drop an additional $620 this month, which puts it a little bit lower than last month as we've begun to shift into our co-insurance for many of our medical expenses. However, honestly, with the IVF treatments that we have coming up, we may well completely deplete this fund this year, but in a normal year, around this time, I'd start to expect to see accumulation back into this account. Moving on to our retirement accounts, we had a rather gangbuster month overall in our IRAs and 401ks, with a total increase of $8,100, which does include our contributions, bringing the total to just under $117,000. Although it's not actually broken out here, my 401k is sitting at just shy of $100,000 right now, a threshold that I am very eager to clear. As I mentioned earlier, this was a 3 pay period month, so my contributions and company match were a bit higher than usual in April, but it was still a pretty good month overall, I must say. Moving over to our non-vested accounts, such as my company pension plan and profit sharing stock options, this month was pretty benign overall, ending pretty much where it all began at $98,000, an increase of just shy of $1,300. Although these accounts have value, technically they don't actually belong to me yet, and if I were to just walk away from my current job, I would actually have to leave these behind. So while I'm not specifically looking to leave, I do still count these separately and analyze both our total and our vested net worth to account for this uncertainty. But altogether, we had a $28,400 increase in our gross assets this month, bringing the total up to $968,450. With very little change in my unvested assets, our vested net worth grew by $27,100 to a total of a bit over $870,000. While we're likely still a few months away, I am incredibly excited to be approaching that $1 million gross assets mark. If the stock market keeps booming, we should hit it sometime this summer. Of course, a downturn could also put this goal further out of reach, but it's still in sight. Of course, as always, assets are just one side of the equation, and although the house may be worth $570,000, I don't hold claim to all that. So let's take a look at our liabilities. I'm still keeping things relatively simple on these, paying minimum payments on the house and car, and the same payment as always on my student loans. This has rolled in some of the loans that I previously paid off, but because the interest rate is so low right now, I haven't otherwise been increasing the payments on these. Altogether, our mortgage fell by $780 to just over $449,000, and the car dropped around $660 down to $21,150. One of the main reasons we've been slow paying this debt is because the interest rate is so low. Our total payment is only $670, so only $10 of our payment is actually going to interest. Student loans this month did hit a new milestone, dropping below $3,000 for the first time, ending the month at $2,950. And finally, we have our credit cards. As always, I do just want to emphasize that although we not only have a balance every month, and that balance is quite similar to what we had the previous month, these are getting paid off each and every month. If you're watching this video and carrying credit card balances, this is one of the worst types of debt that you can carry. If you're unable to pay off your cards in full each month, I do implore you that you work at not only getting them paid off, but at least consider eliminating them from your lives entirely. Altogether though, our credit cards are sitting a bit lower than last month, with $2,213 to be paid off sometime in May. Putting it all together, our liabilities are sitting at $475,345, a shift in the right direction of about $1,800. Applying basic subtraction, we find out that our total net worth comes to $493,100, leaping ever closer to that $500,000 number. In fact, this represents a more than $30,000 jump from March, which means that if all goes well, we might even be able to cross that threshold next month. Now that's certainly hard to believe, as we had just $11,500 to our names just 3.5 years ago. Looking only at the money we truly own, this does drop down a bit to over $395,000, but we exclude the unvested assets, so it's up just shy of $29,000 from last month. Putting this into perspective, we are now 3% closer, putting us just shy of halfway to our near-term goal of $1 million before we exit this decade of our lives. Long term, we estimate that our FIRE number to be about $4 million. And with this month's growth, we are nearly 1/8 of the way there. If you're not yet familiar with FIRE, I'm going to leave a link up top and down below in the description to my video, which can show you how you can escape the rat race and retire decades before your peers through the Financial Independence Retire Early movement. Tracking our net worth each and every month has been incredibly motivating. When I started this practice, I thought $1 million by the time we were 40 would have been a stretch goal, something to aspire to. But as we continue to see progress over the months and years, the reality that we may well not only reach it, but exceed it has begun to settle in. Adding this month to our chart for 2021, everything continues to move in the right direction. Now, I certainly know that it's not realistic to see these gains every month, and a down month is absolutely coming at some point, but it still boggles my mind how much finances can snowball. Since January 1st of this year, our net worth has increased by over $98,000, and that is even more than I have made in total at my job over that time. And that is just a feeling that I can't put into words. At the bottom of this chart, in green, we have our vested liquid assets, and that is everything that we own that's not tied up in our home, car, and so on. While we definitely need to find a way to invest some of this money that's sitting in cash, I'm pretty happy overall with this sum, which has crossed the $250,000 mark. If we can get that invested, that can certainly grow over the next couple of decades into a tidy sum for our retirement. And that's it. April in the bag. And from a net worth perspective, our best month to date. I don't know what the future may bring, both the good and the bad, but with months like this, I look forward to exploring it all with each of you. So if you're like me and feeling motivated by this month's progress, please give this video a like for the almighty YouTube algorithm. For more videos which track my family's journey towards FIRE, please come back and see us soon. I'm currently posting twice a week on personal finance, investing, FIRE, and of course, the successes my family has had and the mistakes we've made along the way. If you'd like to be notified of new videos, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, and YouTube will be sure you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.